Well, hello there. Welcome back to another episode of In the Mood for a Movie. You've told us, we've listened. Today we'll continue our Jeffrey Rush deep dive with The King's Speech.
Whoa, stop there. We promised that we wouldn't do another Rush movie for ages.
What? But one emailer requested it.
No, but we got to listen to how good this movie sounds. A Chicago surgeon, wrongly convicted of murdering his wife, escapes custody and races to find the real killer while being relentlessly pursued by a U.S. Marshal.
Fuck Jeff, that sounds so much better. Let's do it. Welcome to In the Mood for a Movie. I'm your host, Jeremy, and joining me as always, my co-host and brother, Brad. This is a movie podcast where we have conversations about films one of us picks. The catch is, it will be the other person's first time seeing that movie. Brad, excited about the new NRL season?
Well, yeah, obviously sad to lose DCE, but yeah, I'm pretty excited. It should be pretty good.
He didn't want to be there.
He didn't want to be there. He didn't want to be there. Can I just say right off the bat, if you ever get accused of murdering your wife, you call me every day protesting your innocence until I bust you out. But here's the deal. If I don't hear from you, it means you did it.
Okay. And with that, people, today we're doing the 1993 blockbuster action blockbuster, should I say, The Fugitive. Brad, any memories from 1993 you want to share?
Yeah, actually I got two memories. I remember the X-Files premiered on TV in 1993. Yeah, and I actually did a whole thing and I watched it again last year. Man, what a show. Like, I remember as kids, our parents used to go out and you and I would, stay at home, have a pizza night. We'd order pizza and watching TV, and then during the ads, the screen went all fuzzy and funny, and Scully came on the TV going, "There's someone at the door," and just before the pizza man rang the doorbell, and fuck me, it was a marketing ploy for the X-Files, but it scared the shit out of me, especially when I was like looking after you guys, because I think it was just you, me, and Prue at the time. But yeah, man, that was awesome.
Just to stop you there, my memory from X-Files was because we got to watch TV, people, one TV show a night, and I'd choose X-Files because on at 8:30, so I had to stay up late.
Yeah, it was such a good show too, honestly. It's really good. You should go back if you get a chance. But the other thing that happened in 1993, and I'm sure you remember this as well, is that the Sydney Harbour Tunnel officially opened. And we walked it. They opened it up to the public to walk through the Harbour Tunnel before they open it up to all the traffic. So, yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, I remember walking it. Yeah,
couple of other things for you. Battle of Mogadishu, which turned into the film Black Hawk Down. The jazz man himself, Bill Clinton, sworn in, our 42nd president in January. Pablo Escobar, Kowalski, killed.
Cool.
The Waco siege, the 51-day standoff between federal agents and some like a cult, and that then led to the OKC bombing in 1995. Interesting enough. Doom, first-person game, was released.
Bro, what a game.
Whitney Houston's I Will Love You, I Will Always Love You was the top song of the year. MJ's first retirement after winning the treble for the Bulls. Ball of the Century by Warney, my hero. And Monica Seles stabbing. So a couple of highs, couple of lows. I would say more so lows in there. Okay, everyone. So spoiler alert. There will be spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie, go and watch it, come back, or listen along and then go watch it and then come back and tell us what we've missed. As Brad mentioned, the plot, a Chicago surgeon wrongly convicted of murdering his wife escapes custody and races to find the real killer while being relentlessly pursued by U.S. Marshals. Before we get into thoughts on the movie, I will say that this was an adaptation of a 1960s TV show called by the same name, The Fugitive. I had a little list of the best TV adaptation to movies. So this is my list. The Addams Family, The Flintstones, The Saint, Wayne's World, The Fugitive, Lost in Space, Star Trek, The Simpsons, Beavis and Butthead. Can you think of any others?
No, not off the top of my head, but no, that's a pretty good list. Adam's Family, man,
Yeah.
that was good back in the day. Hey.
Apparently, though, TV adaptations don't really work, but I found a lot of them work. Probably not everybody's cup of tea, but I enjoy a lot of those. Um, when did you first see the movie?
So I reckon that I would have seen this at the mecca of movies in my childhood, which was The Voices. So John and Maureen Vorsa, dear family friends of ours, of our parents, I should say, and of ours too. We would go to their place, what felt like almost every weekend or every fortnight. Their kids, Darren and Shannon, were a little bit older than us, or a lot older than us. So they would be going out all the time. So they weren't there, but it was our parents playing 500, and it'd be you and me watching some real kick-ass movies from John's collection. And I reckon I would have first seen it then. So you're a bit younger than me at the time, so you might have fallen asleep, bless. Or you could have been at a friend's house or something like that. But that's
I was just thinking I could have been upstairs playing Brian Lara cricket on the CD.
oh,
But
yeah, that's true.
Johns, he introduced me to Universal Soldier, a lot of freaking great movies, which I absolutely love. Um, how many times do you reckon you've seen it, and do you revisit it?
Yeah, I reckon I've probably seen it probably over half a dozen times. So I would have seen it firstly at the Voices and maybe one other time in my childhood. Then later on in life, when I had Foxtel, I was always drawn to the movie channels, not only for the love of movies, but just to avoid ads. Like I'm sick of ads on TV. So I would have seen it a few more times then. So that would have been maybe the mid 90s when I first saw it a few times, and in the noughties when I saw it probably a few more times. I haven't seen it for quite a while, not until now.
Okay, proud dad moment. The girls are loving Mario the movie, but it's on 7 Plus. So there's ads, and they're like, "What's this, Dad?" And I'm like, "Ads. Welcome to my world, girls. Like,
welcome
welcome to
to
my
my
world."
welcome to my childhood of five
Yeah.
minute bit of the movie and 10 minutes of ads.
Like I don't know how I missed it. It never came across my radar when I was little. I remember a couple of years ago I really wanted to watch it, but then all the streaming services was on. You had to buy it, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to pay for it. I'm just going to wait for it. But
Mm.
now since seeing it, like there's so many references to pop culture, like Cable Guy. It wasn't me. It was the one-armed man, and
Yeah,
all that other
yeah.
stuff that I just never picked up on. So what are your thoughts on the movie?
Well, for me, I think The Fugitive one of those thrillers that still feels pretty fresh for me. I reckon the tight pacing is great. Two legends at the absolute top of their game. The movie was shot almost entirely in sequence, which is rare for a big studio film, and I really think that that helped the tension feel a bit more organic. And it's also for me, a reminder of a lost era when a mid-budget thriller could be a Best Picture nominee and a box office smash without needing, superheroes, IP, or a cinematic universe to prop it up.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Look, I love it. I love it how it just started. Like, I just love how it's full of action. Love how it just started. As you said, like a classic action movie. They don't really make them like they used to. Every time now there's like an action movie that comes out, I'm like, I've got to go support the craft, but I just still feel like they don't get it quite synced down as much. But I guess it's because maybe there's a couple of things that may not be so much kosher today in films. Um, as you said, like I love a good like a manhunt movie or a chase
mm,
movie, but the bit of the back and forth of the two actors and that how they get to go toe to toe, sort of like a boxing match, so to speak. I also love how like the city's a character of the movie, and you get to see so many different aspects of Chicago, which is really cool. And then of course Harrison Ford, what a fucking rock star! Like I love it how he always, in all his movies, tries to find a way to do his little grin or his little slimy smile. Like, just, I just think it's great. Do you think he needs to be in Chicago to find the one-armed man?
uh, that's a good question. I guess maybe because he's looking at those amputee medical records, maybe it's more accessible from the Chicago area because this is 1993. It's not 2026 where it's all probably uploaded on like a intranet or a search if he was at any other hospital. So I think he probably has to specifically go back to the Chicago hospital.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, I don't know. I was like, fine, I feel like you can have this database from anywhere, but I think you make a good point. Like maybe internet is sort of new and fresh and maybe not so much up and running. So he needs to be based in that area. So yeah, Harrison Ford, the rock star, um, played a lot of different characters in his time. Are there certain characters that you really enjoy watching him? Like, what would you say are your top five favorite characters or professions, should I say, that he's played over the years?
Yeah, great question. So I had the top five professions of Harrison Ford. I'll go 5 to 1. So I had five, the President of the United States, purely from that movie Air Force One. I thought that was a really great movie. I do remember him as well for number four. I had the CIA analyst. So he played that Jack Ryan character. Before it was sort of like a big Jack Ryan franchise, but he was in Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger.
Yep.
So I really do enjoy those movies. At three, I had Detective from Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049. I'm sure you knew that was on my list, but I love Deckard. That's such a good character. And then iconically, I had Smuggler slash Pilot from the Star Wars franchise. The galaxy's most charismatic freight operator or smuggler. But at number one, I had Doctor, and it was so many under Doctor because you could have all the Indiana Jones, like Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, The Last Crusade, Kingdom of Crystal Skull, Dial of Destiny. He is Dr. Jones in those movies. He's also a doctor in What Lies Beneath as Dr. Norman
Yeah.
Spencer. And he's also a doctor in The Fugitive for Dr. Richard Kimball. So he has
Okay.
absolutely nailed the doctor part, I think, in terms of professions.
Yeah. So that's why you're on the big box, mate. Combining the doctor and archaeologist together. I had Amish carpenter as my first one, and he's a carpenter in real life, so I feel like that counts. So that's number five. Four, I had U.S. president. Get off my plane. Number three, I kind of cheated. I know everyone. I always cheat. Sorry about that. I had army slash detective because I had to put in Apocalypse Now. Just I
Apocalypse
know he's in it for
Now.
like two
Yeah.
seconds, but he fucking rocks.
Yeah, he nailed
And
that.
detective as well. I'm gonna side that with an Irish detective with some loose links to the IRA in the Devil Zone. Archaeologist two, and then I had Smuggler one. I did have a side note though. I would say he's a terrible professor. Unless he's doing all the Indiana Jones adventures during uni holidays, like how the hell are people learning? How the hell are people getting their scores? Like, what a waste of a class. How much money are people spending on his class? Like, what the hell?
Where's he finding the time to mark all these assessments that he's studying as
Yeah,
well? So
exactly. And like, if you say, oh, it's when he does that plane ride when it's like 10 different stops. No, it isn't. He puts his hat down and he falls asleep. Like, he's not doing shit on those.
can I say he would have like the best, like, welcome back to the New Year students. Hey, what did I do on my holidays? I was out raiding some tomb for some priceless artifact.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly.
what
Shagging
did,
Nazis and
yeah, what did you do? Oh, we went to, LA for the weekend. Oh, okay. Wow.
yeah. Well, I drank from the cup of Christ while I shagged a Nazi. Like,
Yeah.
um, cool. One of the funniest kind of things I saw was when they sent like a first sort of tape to like Warner Brothers. They lost their shit because he had a beard, and they're like, "We're not paying him all this fucking money not to see his face." What did you think of his beard?
Yeah, it's so funny. It was like I sort of had it as like Harrison dressed as Chewbacca. Like I was wanting to know if like you were digging that, but I mean it was quite an impressive mane he was rocking. And from my research, Ford lived in character, so he refused to comb his hair and shave during filming to stay in that sort of fugitive mode. But you're right though, because you do lose his iconic scar on his chin, which you can't really see through him rocking his beard. And then I think that's part of his, gravitas, especially, towards, his sort of sex appeal. I think like that.
Yeah.
Like I think all the ladies love that. So yeah, it was weird not to see. It was weird to see him with a beard so thick. I thought.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of was like, oh, they've done the reverse because normally you feel like if you go on the run, you grow a beard. It's not the opposite way around. Um, Also interesting enough, so the flashback scene where he's in the black tie ball,
Yeah.
that's a fake beard because he had to shoot that at the end. That was like the last scene they shot. and I'll
Oh,
tell you
wow.
about that why in a little bit.
I guess that goes to the point as well that we were talking about how the film was shot in sequence. So he's shaved the beard off, and then they're like, "Oh crap, we've got a flashback we've got to do. Let's put on a fake beard for you." So
Yeah. Now, as I said, he's a leading man rock star. What do you think to him? What do you think about him when he was crying during the interrogation scene?
uh, I, I get it. Like he just lost his wife. I think his role isn't the badass like Indiana Jones Han Solo that we're used to seeing him play. Like I mentioned, he's sort of a bit of a sex symbol for the ladies, and I think he sort of knows it. So it's more of a passionate and heartfelt dude. He's like a caring doctor. I'll go into that a little bit later as well, and a loving husband. So it was actually really good to see. I really liked the emotion I was getting from him. Yeah. What did you think?
That was the only time I thought he was guilty. He's like, he was like, I was like, fake tears, man, fake fucking tears.
Yeah, well, I was actually going to ask you. I mean, like during the trial, like Kimball just looks so guilty the whole time. Like, just chill, bro. Like, do you reckon he should have hired like Johnny Cochran or something like that for a lawyer?
Yeah, he needed OJ's lawyer, the bull. He needed the
Yeah.
bull in there.
If the story doesn't fit, you must have quit.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know what a hard target is? It's okay
Uh,
if you don't, because I looked it up.
no, don't.
A hard target is a person, location, or facility that is well protected, vigilant, and difficult, an attacker to successfully target due to robust security measures, high awareness, or defensive posture. The only time I'd heard hard target was the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
Yeah, I was thinking that's the first thing came to my mind. So yeah, that's a
Yeah, as
great
soon as
movie.
he said hard target, I was like, oh, where's Jean-Claude Van Damme? Um, Interesting enough as well about the waterfall jump, if you don't think he could survive it. So in July 9th, 1960, a boating accident in a Niagara River caused a 9-year-old Roger Woodward and his older sister to be thrown into the water, a short distance from the brink of the falls on the Canadian side. The young man's sister was swept towards the riverbank and was pulled from the river by two men just before she would have gone over the edge. Roger was swept over. He fell 162 feet into the rapids below when he was picked up uninjured by the Maid of Mist to a boat. Thus, it's possible for him to survive that fall or jump.
Wow, that's crazy.
Now, the question for you, hard hitting question. How much is a 12-year-old scotch? You know, when the cop's like, I'll buy a 12-year-old scotch to whoever gets this guy.
Isn't it like it's like $200 a bottle or something, isn't it?
We're at ranges. So I looked it up. This is Aussie dollars, 68.90 to 299.99 so for a nice Japanese scotch.
Yeah, nice.
When do you think Tommy Lee starts believing him?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm sure that Gerard is desensitized to the fact that all these prisoners will keep saying that they're innocent. So he doesn't pay too much stock into that. So I think questions were asked when he came back to the hospital to play doctor and they realized that he was trying to track down the one-armed man. But when he was leaving the courthouse later on, after Kimball interviewed someone that was not the suspect, when he was escaping Gerard, and, security doors and everything were coming down,
Oh,
like
yeah.
Gerard is like shooting him like at that bulletproof glass and
Yeah.
he's aiming for his head. So if he had doubts, I don't think he would be trying to bring him down like, dead or alive. So I think for me, it was the moment when he called from Sykes' house and said, I found a really big piece of the puzzle, and then they all go there, and then Sykes shows up afterwards and gets questioned from Gerard. So I think at that point, Gerard knew that something was up. What
Okay.
about you?
I thought it was when he goes to Sykes' place, was just then, and then he
Yeah,
sort of started piecing it all together.
yeah,
So,
with the
um,
photos and everything. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Interesting what you say about when he's shooting at him when his foot's stuck in the door. So
yeah.
apparently Tommy Lee didn't want to he's like, why am I shooting at him? And there was a little bit of back and forth, and then like an executive producer pulled him aside and was like, hey man, your character just shot a black guy at like point blank range. And now he's not going to shoot at a white guy. How do you think that makes your character look? And he's like, give me the fucking gun.
I was going to ask you, so if you escape prison, wouldn't you just run? Like hearing all these stories and he's a victim of injustice, like just keep running, bro. Like you can't go back to being a doctor, can you? Like can he go back to being a doctor after this?
Well, I'll save that to what I think happens at the end of the movie. But yeah, I agree with you. I would do like is it Snowden? Who's the guy in Russia? Like, I would just escape to another country and then try and get my innocence, or like show innocence from over there,
Yeah.
and then come back. And there's no way that I'd be going to the prison to talk to that one-armed guy. Um, just no way. How long do you reckon he was on the run for in the movie?
Well, initially I thought it might have only been a couple of days, but then he's renting a place from people. So
Yeah.
like it must be longer than that. Like, but it doesn't feel like it's that long. So, I mean, originally I said a couple of days, but I'm questioning that. What were you
Yeah,
thinking?
I was thinking a couple of weeks, but then I also said, but then he's renting an apartment, so maybe months. But then I was like, how could you be in a major city for that long and not caught? I don't know, 1993. I guess today you just wouldn't be able to, but maybe 1993, they don't have all that facial recognition and stuff like
CTV
that.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
And why do you reckon the cops hated him so much? Like, he seemed like he was, they arrested him at his premise. I don't think he really put up much of a fight. He got found guilty. Like, the two cops the two Chicago PD guys seemed to have a really big bee in their bonnet every time Kimball was mentioned.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I really felt that in the movie, like that the cops hated him so much. So it's a great question. I reckon that they probably knew that they railroaded him, or they tried to tie the case up, pretty quick, and they don't want to be called out for being incompetent. So
Yeah, okay, good point.
I guess no one like wants to be proven to be crap at their job. So I think they just went, they just wanted to make sure that he couldn't disprove their case and make them look stupid. So that's what I had. Well, that's what I
Yeah,
was sort of
cool.
thinking. What about you?
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't really have an answer. I wanted to hear you, and again, that's why you're on the big bucks, because
Yeah.
you give good answers. But just going back, I also just love like all the practical effects, like with the crash and things like that. I know we'll get into that in production stories and things like that, but just practical effects. The story just kind of goes. There's not too much fluffing around the whole story. Um, Interesting enough as well, and it just kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat, and you're just looking for it to go more. So, Brad, you're the numbers guy. Why don't you talk us through the box office?
Yeah, sure thing. So, this movie had a budget of around 44 million, and worldwide it grossed roughly $368 million. So, in 1993, the box office top three of that year, it came in third behind Jurassic Park and Mrs. Doubtfire. So, it crushed commercially and critically. And surprising though, Jez, because Army of Darkness, one of your favorite movies, came out in 1993, and it didn't make the top five, despite the fact that we would have seen that movie a billion times.
Um, Fuck yeah. But what about like, yeah, I just naming some of the top movies of the year: Jurassic Park, Mrs. Doubtfire, The Fugitive, Schindler's List, The Firm, Indecent Proposal, Cliffhanger, Sleepless in Seattle, Philadelphia, The Pelican Brief, Army of Darkness. Like, what
And
the hell?
you've also got The Piano and Tombstone, and you got In the Line of Fire as well. So that was like an amazing year for
Oh,
movies. And I was going
how
to say
good's
this.
Tombstone? I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah,
So
Tombstone's
good.
great. That's like one of Leanne's favorite movies. How about this as well? Like, just side note for Tom Hanks, he did Sleepless in Seattle and Philadelphia in 1993. So that's a bit of a MVP kind of year for him as well. So
Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. So, directed by Andrew Davis. Have you heard of him?
no, to be fair, not really.
Can I interest you in Above the Law, Under Siege, The Fugitive, Collateral Damage?
You can definitely interest me in two of those I've seen, which is Under Siege and Collateral Damage. Fantastic. What was the other one? I haven't seen the other one.
Above the Law, another Seagal movie.
Nah, good.
It's
You
just
said it?
classic Seagal.
Classic
Just
Seagal.
Seagal being Seagal for
Yeah,
90 minutes.
nice.
I'll show you a move. Under Siege. So, Harrison Ford, the Carpenter, and congrats to Big Harrison. He got a SAG Lifetime Achievement Award this year. So, he survived a plane crash, but he's also rescued a boy from a helicopter. You know about 2001 when that 13-year-old boy was lost in the Yellowstone National Park, and Harrison was in his helicopter, was looking for him, and he signaled to him, and he went and rescued him. So,
No, I didn't even know that. That's
man of many
fantastic.
talents.
That's fantastic. He is a
Hunky Harrison,
legend.
Hunky
Uh,
Harrison Ford, always fantastic in movies. Like he's just such a star. He's just the coolest man alive. He's got an earring, like say no more. I think ageless as well. Like he just looks the same. I know now he's got the white hair, but Jesus Christ. When I saw him with a beard, I was just like, as we were talking about before, I was like, who is this rough guy? Like, I didn't think it was unrecognizable, but it was like a little bit different. Um, but like, what did you think of Harrison in the movie?
Yeah, I really liked him. I thought he was, like we sort of mentioned before, it gone away from those sort of badass sort of roles into something a bit more heartfelt. Yeah, I thought, it showed a bit more of his range and coming from the post Star Wars, the post Indiana Jones gravitas, smack bang in the middle of the sort of Jack Ryan phase. I thought this really sort of cemented him as a serious adult thriller kind of like actor.
Yeah, yeah. And without stepping on production, so he tore his ACL running in the bushes in his jumpsuit. So the limp that you see in the movie is his actual limp from his ACL because he didn't want to get surgery. Makes sense because of the recovery time, and they were on a pretty short time frame. So, like, what a hero. Tommy Lee. So, how old do you think Tommy Lee Jones was in this movie?
Actually, I don't know how old was he?
47. How old do you think Harrison was?
Was he 50?
51. Yeah, pretty
51.
good.
Yeah.
47. I feel like Tommy Lee Jones has also just looked the same
Yeah.
his
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
life.
you're right. Yeah.
So, growing up, my main sort of reference to Tommy Lee Jones is Under Siege, and he's actually coming off Under Siege in this movie. So, he'd worked with the director before. Fucking loved him in that movie. You tried to
And
kill me, you son of a bitch. Welcome to the revolution.
such a good movie. And the year before that was one of your favorite movies, JFK. He was in that.
Ah,
So,
yeah.
so
Just plays a great rich gay man.
I know. You know what? We've got to put that movie on the list because I haven't seen it yet.
Well,
And
I know.
I know you don't believe me that I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
I
So
just when I did the Tommy Lee or
Donald
the
Sutherland.
JFK, yeah, I just assumed you'd seen it. So when I was
I
talking
was just laughing along. So yeah, no, we need to put this one on the list.
so Joey or Joe Pantolino or Joey P as I call him, loved him in this movie. He's such a good ball breaker, and I just love all his one-liners that he does. I know that you're a big Joey P man. I just want to say, when that metal bar gets swung into his face, like to me, that's just death. Like that's my worst nightmare. Like all I could think about was like, oh my God, how many teeth did he lose? Like I was just like shivering on the couch, like, oh. Um, Tell us about Joey P.
Yeah, and I love Joey P. I think he's, done some of my favorite movies of all time. And he's also been in one of my favorite TV shows of all time. So the guy's got range and he's got presence without sort of overtaking the actual, movie. So I think he's absolutely fantastic. What about you? Do you like big Joey P fan?
Yeah, I loved him. And I loved him in this, and I love him in a lot of things he's in. So I've asked you, what are your top 5 Joey P performances? Not movies, so we might be able to sneak something else in here. I'm going to
I
guess
did
though.
movies. I did
Did you? I did
movies.
say I told you earlier in the week. I said I've changed to performances.
Okay.
Um, I'm going to say for you, Memento's number 1, but I want to hear your top 5.
Okay, well, I did just on movies, so shout out because obviously I've missed The Sopranos, so I'll let you talk to that.
Yeah,
But at 5, I had Bad Boys. I thought he was actually quite funny in that. I know
yeah,
you and I had lunch recently, and we were sort of chatting about, the Will Smith was heard around the world and how how much I didn't like that. But I still think that's a great movie, and he's really good in that. At 4, I had Risky Business. He is so funny in that. I don't know if you've seen that, but he's almost like doing like a yard sale, like out of the back of a truck and everything with Tom Cruise. It's just so
okay,
funny. Um, at 3, there's a movie again from my Foxtel days, Deadly Impact. I don't know if you've seen that one. He's kind of like he's like a bad dude, like he's almost like a bomber kind of thing, like a terrorist kind of person from my memory. I've only
okay.
seen it a couple of times and it was a while ago. Two, I had The Matrix. I loved him in that. And correctly, as you said, number one, Memento. Teddy, don't believe his lies. He is just lights out in that movie. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. So, yeah,
Okay. I'm
love him.
kicking myself because I forgot about Bad Boys. Should have looked
Oh,
up his
yes.
IMDb. So this is my top five. Baby's Day Out, The Fugitive. So Baby's Day Out is gone. The Bad Boys is in there for somewhere. Number four, Fugitive. Three, Memento. Two, Sopranos. Ralph Cifarato. Why was I born handsome instead of rich? And then number one, The Matrix. Just when he's eating that steak, talking to Mr. Smith, like just such a great
Yeah,
scene.
that is such a good
I
scene.
want to come back as an actor or whatever he says. Like,
I don't want to remember anything. Nothing, you hear?
yeah, yeah. Now, one of my baby girls is in this movie, Gillian Moore, and just want to stress that such a pleasure to see her, but criminally underutilized in this film. But I can bring up a little bit on that later. But I enjoy watching her in all the movies. This was her biggest movies to date when when she started appearing in them, and then it really starts to kick off in 1997. When she's in like Jurassic Park, Lost World, Boogie Nights, and then in '98 she's in The Big Lebowski. So, what do you think of Gillian?
Yeah, I really like her. I think I don't know if I'm going to spoil what you've got coming up, but I think her role was originally much larger, but they trimmed it down after screen testing. But yeah, I really like her. I think
Yeah,
yeah.
we talk about it now. So she was in the movie or in the first sort of cut, and the first cut was 3 hours, and they really reduced it. So you can tell that like the courtroom scenes and like maybe the interrogation stuff were a lot longer. Um, but he was meant to be having a love interest with her, and they cut it because they're like, well, if he's having an affair, he looks guilty. So they got rid of that storyline.
Yeah, that actually kind of makes sense now. So I didn't know what it was about, but if he's trying to prove his innocence that he didn't kill his wife and he's having it off with some chick on the side, that's really probably not the best look for him in the movie, I think.
Yeah. Now, Cilla Ward, she's not really in the movie for very long, but I know she's in like Independence Days and a couple of other big flicks. Want to talk about her, or we can just skip her?
No, you can skip her. I mean, I think she's a bit of a babe, but yeah, not really does much in this movie. Do you want to
Yeah,
talk about
is a
her at all?
babe. Did like the pearl necklace. Very young. I also need to mention a very young Jane Lynch. So you know who Jane Lynch is?
No.
She's the other doctor. So she's the girl, or she's the lady. She's in Wreck-It Ralph. She's in Glee. She's in Role Models, The 40-Year-Old Virgin. She's more of like a comedy actor. She's got like the blonde hair. You'll know her as soon as you look her up
Oh my
now.
gosh, yeah, I know who you
Yeah,
mean. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
She's
yeah.
the one where they uncover that he's been, that Nichols has like been signing off on the tests or whatever. But
Mm.
just great to see her. What a year for the Oscars, hey? 1993. So this got 7 Oscars nomination, which I thought was pretty huge for the genre. I know you were talking about it earlier, how you were like really impressed about it. So Tommy Lee wins for Best Supporting Actor. I got some thoughts on this.
Have you seen that speech?
No, I've only seen where he says, "I'm not bald."
Yeah. Yeah, he's got his head shaved. And it looks so stupid. Well, it looks silly. But he's saying, like, I'm not bored. I'm doing another movie. So he
Yeah,
calls it
yeah.
out. It was pretty funny. Yeah.
Did you know? So, did you know who the nominees were for Best Supporting Actor for
Y-
1993?
Yes, I do.
Do you
So
know where I'm going? Do you know
yeah,
where I'm going
I
here?
think I think I know where you're going.
Okay, so I'll just quickly say, so the Best Supporting Actors: Tommy Lee Jones, The Fugitive; Leonardo DiCaprio, What's Eating Gilbert Grape; Ralph Fiennes, Schindler's List; John Malkovich, In the Line of Fire; Pete Postlethwaite, I Did Your Mum the Chemical Way, Sonny, In the Name of the Father. Who do you think I think should have won?
I think you think probably Ralph Fiennes
Yeah,
for
fucking
Schindler's List.
hands
That
down. I was
that
like, how did
he
he not win?
that was I know as I was researching that I was like wow,
Yeah,
like
as
Tommy
soon as
Lee
I
is fantastic, but Ralph Fiennes was
Ralph
unbelievable. So
Fiennes is that friggin' Nazi. Like, if you have a look at the side by side comparison, I'm like, oh my God, I'm watching a Nazi on screen. I
yeah,
thought he was going to like a makeup Oscar for for Conclave. So the other nominations were cinematography, best effect, sound effect, best film editing, best score, best picture, best sound. So, look, did really well, I think. All things considered, especially for like the type of genre of the movie that we were talking about. So production, I love when they use, as I was saying before, the city as a character in a movie. And like, I like it, in the scene where they're listening and they're like, oh, he's at the L train station, and they work out sort of where he was. So this was filmed in Chicago. Um, Keen to hear what your favorite Chicago movie was. I made a top 5. So my top 5 is, and I'm here keen to hear yours. And I think your number 1 is going to be the same as my number 1. So number 5, Chicago. 4, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. 3, The Blues Brothers. 2, Home Alone. Number 1, The Dark Knight.
Yeah, perfect. Great. I had The Dark Knight as well. So,
That opening scene.
yeah,
That
that
opening
whole
scene.
movie is fantastic. And it was really funny because rewatching this one now, after obviously seeing The Dark Knight come out later on in life, that whole underground scene when Kimball gets the money from Dr. Nichols, I'm like, oh man, that's where they had that Dark Knight, the underground part where, they're trying to take out, who they think is Batman in the back of the police van, and the
Oh,
Joker's
yeah,
there,
with
like
the
shooting it
thing.
up and everything. And I was
God,
just
I
like,
didn't even think of
took
that,
me
but as soon
back.
as you said it, I could picture it in my head. I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God, that's exactly where
Yeah,
they
it's
are.
exactly it is. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely had Dark Knight. So
So it looks like they had every man and his dog writing the script for this movie. So first they wanted to make it like a franchise movie, so have multiple, which they sort of do. Um, but they got like writers from like Under Siege. They got writers from like a heap of bunch of other action movies. Apparently, like 80% of the dialogue is just sort of made up on the spot. So, like Tommy Lee would sort of have a chat to all the other US Marshals before, and they'd be like, let's make sure we add some banter and stuff into this scene. So, pretty remarkable considering that, like, how much the script was bouncing around, how successful this movie was. And funnily enough, before you say anything, one of the endings that they had in mind, so they wanted it at the end to be Tommy Lee to have hired the one-armed man because he wanted to get revenge on Harrison Ford, who had butchered a surgery on Tommy Lee's wife, who Tommy Lee had beaten up. Ladies and gentlemen, 1993. Like, what the hell is that for a script?
can I say that is so fucking dark? I
I
can't
know.
believe, like, it's not like, oh, hey, my wife was in a horrible car accident,
No.
whilst I was at work and he botched up the surgery. And like, it's the fact that he beat her up.
Yeah,
He didn't save her life, even though he beat her up. And that
yeah,
was it. I mean, yeah. I mean, like I said, they don't make movies like this. They don't even have the ideas like this
no.
anymore. It's crazy.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug, man. Um,
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
so the dam jump was real. So they actually got a stunt guy to do the dam jump. They did it one take.
Oh, so he actually jumped off the dam.
Yeah, I thought it was fake, but apparently it's real. There's a guy that jumped off the dam.
Oh my
The
God.
the train crash cost $1 million. They only got to do it in one shot. I think it didn't derail, so they then made a miniature set. So I love 93 practical effects. They made a miniature to do it. Now you can still go to the wreckage. It's a tourist attraction, so you can go to where the train is like derailed and take photos and stuff.
Yeah, I read about that too. I think is it in Charlotte? I think it is in North Carolina. I'm not too sure, but yeah,
Yeah, North Carolina.
yeah. You know what? If I'm ever stopping through Southeast America, I'll definitely pop past and have a look at that. That's for sure.
As I mentioned, they started filming without a script, like without a finished script, so they had everybody working on it. A lot of lines were improvised, especially the "I don't care" line. The St. Patrick's
I
Day
didn't kill
parade.
my wife.
I don't care. I just love how blunt he was. When I first saw it, I just started laughing. I was
I know,
like,
it's
what the
so
fuck?
badass.
So St. Patrick's Day parade was actually filmed during the real parade. So Harrison's like, oh, when I was walking, like a couple of people recognized me and like started screaming and waving to me. So I thought that was really great how they had like thousands of real people. Again, CGI, not not a thing.
Can I just piggyback off that as well? Because I was reading that they didn't actually get a permit for that parade, so they just filmed it, hoping that no one would stop them. And that reminds me of a classic story. So James Cameron literally told Arnold Schwarzenegger, when they were doing Terminator, to go and punch the window of a parked car, but they didn't even own that car, and the glass wasn't safety glass, and Arnie didn't know all this until afterwards. So it's total like guerrilla filmmaking, in those 80s and 90s, and just love it. It's fantastic. It's a great
Is that
story.
where he like elbows the car to open it up in the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
one?
I think he just punches it, and Arnold thinks like, oh, like James Cameron's like, oh, okay, we are in the car and
Uh,
safety glass. He just goes over and smashes some innocent person's
God.
car.
If anything, I'm just thinking, can we go back to 1993? Like, what a
100%.
year.
Yeah, so
Um,
good.
One man's arm was digitally removed. They really went into the Chicago sewers, and apparently it smelled terribly. And that's pretty much everything I have for production. Anything you wanted to add?
No, I just had the going back to the one-armed man that apparently was inspired by a real case from the 1950s involving a doctor wrongly accused of killing his wife.
So favorite scenes. What scenes did we enjoy? I'll just go through a couple of them. So opening credits, wife getting murdered whilst they play the opening scenes, and they're introducing Chicago as a city, rolling into Harrison being taken into questioning. As I mentioned, I just love when movie starts. To the flashback where he's got the fake beard, um, into the surgery interrogation scene, and they mash the murder into steps with that as well. Um, the bus ride is one of like the greats. I just think that scene rocks. I love like a kind of heist escape when like the prisoner starts to get sick, and then they have to then that's how they kind of take over the bus,
Yeah.
rolling into the train crash, and him getting away. Tommy Lee entering, as I mentioned, swinging his massive cock around to all the different agents. Well, shit, Sheriff, I'd hate to see that happen. I guess I'll just have to take over your investigation. And then he goes, listen up, ladies and gentlemen. I love then when he steals the ambulance going into the helicopter chase, the bit of cat and mouse, which then goes into the sewers, which then goes into his jump into the river, followed by him then dyeing his hair, changing his appearance, going back into the hospital and looking up like trying to work out like the prosthetics or people with one arms in the Chicago area.
And I was going to say, I love that part too, because, he saves that kid's life, which is like, that's the beautiful part. Is that this part now, or is that the next part?
Yeah, it's sort of, I'm going to mesh that all into one. And then
Like,
whilst he's
because,
sort of, sorry, you go.
no, I was just going to say, like, the kid's fucking dying. He's risking his life to make sure that he's okay. Like,
Yeah.
it's so cool. Yeah.
I love it when he's like whispering, like, check the scans, check
Yeah.
the scans, or whatever he's
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah.
Kimball gets an apartment. Who would have thought? It's pretty good. Like just the sketchy people, and when they come and do the raid, and he thinks he's the one that's getting done, but no, it's the pedo. I like when they interview Dr. Nichols, and he's like, "You won't find him. He's too smart." And then when Kimball goes and visits the prisoner in jail, which I would never do, which then leads to the chase and then going into the Paddy's Day parade. I love that kind of bird's eye view when the guy's on the roof and he's looking down, trying to like on the
Yeah.
walkie-talkies, trying to
That
tell
always works
where
well in
they are.
movies. Yeah.
And then going into like the L train, like working out, because of the train noise and the and then the subway station. Um, Followed into him going into working out like that it's Sykes's address and Sykes was involved, and then going into Sykes' apartment, calling him. He's like, "You know how you don't care? Well, now I've got proof," and he leaves the phone off the hook so they can go there.
And it's so
Um,
funny because it's like the one-armed man rocks up and they're like, oh, Kimball thinks that you killed him, and he's like, I don't know what you mean. Like, if I'm Sykes, it's 100% time to skip down. Get out of there, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the when he's with Jane Lynch and he works out that like Nichols' involvement in it, and then he has the fight with the one armed man on the train, followed them, Kimball confronting Nichols, and then them going down to the basement and subduing Nichols. But in the meantime, Nichols knocks out Joey P with the massive metal bar, which just terrifies me, into Kimball being rearrested and Gerard taking him into the car where he's undoes his handcuffs. He's like, I thought you don't care. And then his famous line, don't tell anybody. And then credits. I love that wide shot that they do as the car's driving away and the credits roll, like just perfect cinema.
Yeah.
I think there's probably a couple of scenes that I missed.
No, I've got pretty much everything that you had. And also I just love all the little flashback scenes too, like throughout the movie. I thought that was really cool too. Like he'd fall asleep, like, after he escaped the dam job, he falls asleep in like all the leaves and everything, and it's a flashback, and then he
That's
wakes
cool.
up and it's morning. So I just think things like that's like a really cool transition.
Okay, cool. Awesome. The Hans Gruber, the slowly falling off a building face moment stole the movie. What's your Hans Gruber, Brad?
There are some really fantastic scenes throughout this movie, but I just have to go to the iconic one, the whole dam scene and the dam job. Like I just think that's probably just the best part. How about you?
So I have the sort of shot before that, or the scene before that, where the Tommy Lee, as I mentioned, or Gerard's in the helicopter and they're chasing the ambulance.
Yeah.
Just seeing the ambulance in the background whilst the helicopter's moving is just, I just love it. I was just like, fuck yeah, this is great.
Yeah, and the best thing is, like, that's not CGI. Like, that's an actual like camera shot with like both of those in the actual camera. Like, it is
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah. It's great. Like Terminator 2 definitely, or James Cameron looked at that and was like, fuck yeah, I'm adding that in Terminator 2. Best quotes. So what are some of your favorite quotes?
I've got a few favorite quotes. I'll just jump into them, and you can let me know what I missed out. I quite enjoyed after Gerard kills Copeland, like the other prisoner. He's on the phone with his supervisor, and you can tell he's getting reamed. And then Tommy Lee's just like, "Mr. Copeland was a bad man. He was going to kill one of my kids," and you can tell he's still getting reamed. And he's like, "Well, so you could blame me. I'm the one that shot him." And just hangs the phone up. He's like, "I'm the biggest. Like, I'm so fucking good at my job. I don't care what you think. Like, I'm just gonna do what I want." I thought that was really cool. I like you mentioned it there already, I want you to check every farmhouse, in-house, outhouse, all that. That was a really good quote. I also I like the, when Gerard's, like you mentioned, all those improvised scenes with these other detectives. And, so he showed up dead yet? Let that be a lesson to you, boys and girls. Don't ever argue with the big dog because the big dog is always right. And then Biggs is like, woo, 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 woof. So I like that. I liked Gerard when he was like so stone cold after killing Copeland and he's just whispering, "I don't bargain." I thought that was really cool. Again, like,
Oh shit! So that's Copeland.
yeah, that's
Oh,
Copeland.
I
Yeah.
only just realized that. Okay,
Yeah.
I was one of my questions is like, what happened to Copeland?
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, another Gerard one, like when Renfro, which is Joey P, goes, "When I die, I want to come back just like you," and he goes, "Oh, you mean happy and handsome?" I just thought
Yeah.
that was so funny. And again, the iconic, "I didn't kill my wife, I don't care." But I have got my favorite quote, which for me was when Gerard goes, "What are you doing?" And Newman's like, "I'm thinking." And Gerard goes, "Well, pick me up a cup of coffee and a chocolate donut with those little sprinkles on top, will you, as long as you're thinking?" I don't know. I just thought it was just so funny. So that
Yeah,
really
I
got
had
me.
that. I had that one as well. I think one of my favorites though is like, all right, listen up, ladies and gentlemen. Our fugitive has been on the run for 90 minutes. Average foot speed of uneven ground bearing injuries is 4 miles per hour. That gives us a radius of 6 miles. And also he wouldn't come to me. That's not his style. But my favorite is the scene when they're getting on the bus and the guy from Groundhog Day is like, "Copeland." He's like, "What?" And the guy's like, "Be nice now." It's just the what, and he just yells at him. I've got one more that I want to share. The only other one was just shout out to the Chicago PD by playing by the book. when the guy's like, he's convicted in a court of law. He's guilty. All right, mate.
I didn't ask you which one was your favorite. Which was your favorite?
No, it's the what? What?
The what?
Kirkland, what?
So yeah, one that I actually forgot to mention was when Kimball has that altercation with Sykes in the train, and Sykes kills the cop, and then Kimball's handcuffing him to Sykes to the train. He goes, "You missed your stop." So it got me thinking about the biggest badass lines of Harrison Ford's career. So I got the Mount Rushmore of his badass lines. So one we've already mentioned from Air Force One is "Get off my plane." So that's such a good line. I think also from Empire Strikes Back when Leia's like, "I love you," and he goes, "I know." It's so funny. And then there's one, I don't know if you've seen it. It's from Anchorman 2. It's a deleted scene, when Veronica and Ron Burgundy are up in Mac Tannen, played by Harrison Ford's, office. They're on the 65th floor of this building. He goes, "6 years ago, I jumped out from behind that column and surprised the window washer who fell to his death. Technically, it wasn't my fault." That I thought was really good. But the best, I reckon, ever, badass line from Harrison Ford has got to be from Bruno, when Bruno is doing, "Coming up next, my exclusive interview with Harrison Ford, but now some time for some other stuff." And he's just got this focus room, and he's got his dick swinging around and talking to people, and they're just hanging in there for this interview that Bruno keeps promising, and he finally goes to it, and Bruno's like, "Harrison, Harrison, Harrison," and Harrison Ford just goes, "Fuck off."
Yeah.
That was just so funny.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that one. That was the best. My one was just the Princess Leia response, "I know."
Yeah, I love you. I
So,
know. So badass.
so favorite song or score? Mine was, I do like the score at the end during the final fight. Like the drums and string is just such a great combination. But my favorite is the pipe band during the Paddy's Day parade. Love a good bagpipe, love a great snare drum. We can listen to that all day long. I blame it on school, but that's just what it is. What about you?
Yeah, well, the score was done by James Newton Howard. So overall, I thought it was really good. Like you mentioned, like, orchestral, in nature. I felt it would tighten, when it had to, and disappeared when it needed to, which I thought was pretty good. So I don't think you need that noir style music playing all the time in the movie. So I'm glad that they didn't do it. But I thought it was done best during the bus train crash scene. So it was sort of like pounding percussion and rising bass. So yeah, I really enjoyed that part.
Pre 2000s. So, what are the biggest pre 2000s thing? I'll start again. So, opening credit with both stars' names and the title card, like how it sort of turns, just
Yeah.
peak 90s. Hazing your work colleagues. Don't let him give them shit about your ponytail either. The banter between all of them is just so great. Don't know if HR would allow it. And then the cassette Walkman on the cleaner looking out the window at the end when the helicopter's like flying around. You see the cleaner cleaning and he's got a cassette player.
Oh, I missed that. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
What about
Um,
you?
I had payphones, so you never see them anymore, but they used to be everywhere. So,
Oh,
I remember as a kid, like, you didn't have any money, you'd be reverse dialing from the payphone to get your mum to pick you up, and the operator's like to your mum, "Are you happy to accept these charges?" And you quickly go, "Mum, I'm ready to pick up. Come get me from the train station," and then hang up, and then no one has to pay for that call. It's so funny. It's the best.
yeah.
Um, I also had picking up a hitchhiker. Like, that doesn't happen anymore, does it? Like, especially a lady picking up Harrison Ford. I mean, I know the ladies love him and all, but really, like, is
We'll
this
get well,
lady,
well I got,
this
got a
lady
lot of
gonna?
thoughts on that. We'll just
Okay,
park that for a moment, ladies and gentlemen. We'll come back.
and
And anything else?
I had as well. The CGI is so pre 2000s, and it didn't age well with the crash. I thought it was just Harrison Ford running next to a green screen. Now, I know you sort of give 1993 a bit of a pass, but I mean, Jurassic Park came out, and I guess it's, that's probably aged a bit better, but I think it would have been better if they just had, someone running around, like running away from the train instead of Harrison Ford running in front
So
of it.
with that, he'd already banged up his knee or done his ACL.
Yeah.
So he did it the first time, and the fireworks didn't go off. And he's like, "F you, I'm not doing this again." They had to get Peter Weir on set. So Peter Weir, who directed what's it say, Witness.
Yeah.
So Peter Weir had to come on set and was like, "Come on, man, like do it one more time." So like he built up the courage to do it one more. So poor old Harrison.
What he does, poor Ford.
Benjamin Button, what's aged the best for you, Brad?
I had the dual protagonist structure is the part of The Fugitive that's aged well for me. So modern thrillers almost never balance two leads this good, and the film cuts between them in great rhythms. I mean, cutting between Ford and cutting between Tommy Lee Jones. So it's kind of that cat and mouse thriller. You sort of mentioned it before, like, the two sort of going each other. And it feels like it used to be everywhere, and now it's almost extinct. In favor of sort of, franchise movies and superhero movies. But yeah, I really like that cat and mouse, and the most closest sort of modern comparison of that, I probably would say would be No Country for Old Men, which funnily enough stars Tommy Lee Jones. But even that film is more existential dread than pure pursuit. So yeah, I really love the cat and mouse changing between the two. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, great. Awesome. So mine were practical effects. I just love that they actually ran a train into a bus. Like that's just awesome.
Yeah.
The marshals busting each other's balls, answering your home phone with, "Yeah, talk to me." When Nichols calls Sky, it's like, who the hell answers the home phone that way? And then the final shot when you're kind of like at the, "Yeah, talk to
Yeah,
me."
talk to me.
Like, and it's not
It's your
even like
mum,
it's
darling.
caller ID. You don't
It's
even,
your
yeah, it's
mum.
like, "Hey man, would you like to buy this subscription
Yeah,
to
talk to me.
whatever?" And then the final shot of the car driving away, that kind of telegraph pole shot where the car you just see driving off into the distance, the um, sort of background actors
Yeah,
start walking, or extras, should I say, start walking across the road, and then the credits start rolling. They don't do that anymore, and I love it.
yeah.
So what's aged the worst? I had innocent people on death row. The court scene and trial, like how quickly he was put on death row. As you know, I think you texted me earlier in the week, like he had no prize or anything like that.
Yeah, I was
Like
going to
just
ask.
guilty, kill yourself. Did
Yeah,
you know where the judge was from?
he was from Under Siege as well. He's
Yeah,
the
he was a
admiral.
general. He was
Yeah,
one of the
yeah, yeah,
general admirals
yeah,
from Under Siege.
yeah.
I had drug dealing pedos. Hate to see it. The guy that he rents the apartment off. Um, So police's role is to de-escalate, I've been told. All the cops in this movie seem pretty keen to shoot first and ask questions later.
You're right,
So,
and they're so like, Kimball's guilty. We're gonna take him down. I
yeah,
promise
yeah,
you, man.
like if you get a
People in
clean
Chicago
shot, shoot him.
take him out dead or alive. Yeah, he's so right.
And there didn't seem to be much like consequences or paperwork, like especially after Gerard shot, what's his name? Copeland. He even just hangs up the phone. He's like, "Yeah, I shot him," and just hangs up and goes into the other meeting room. Like,
Yeah,
where's the accountability?
yeah, yeah. That's
And
funny.
then the only other thing which I thought aged the worst was I didn't actually like the fight between Kimball and the one-man man on the train. Like I thought it was pretty poor um, acting and sequences. And then like the ending of the fight where he kind of bangs Sykes' head on the door to knock him out. Like, not great, Bob. What was yours, Brad? What's aged the worst for you?
Well, it's funny. I had a mention for the mistrust in the judicial system as well, which you mentioned. But for me, it was pharmaceutical cover-ups. So I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I got my shots, calm down. But I feel like COVID wasn't handled very well. And I mean, do you remember? I don't know if you know about the Nurofen scandal. Do you remember that?
No.
But basically what they did, they had the same drug in different packages and claimed it to be something different. So if you get Nurofen or Nurofen targeting period pain or Nurofen Savance, like it's all the same shit. Like they got dragged through the courts. It was just so ridiculous. So I still got a little mistrust lingering there. So I mean, imagine if we did a pod during COVID, this would have been such a bigger talking point. So yeah, I said
Yeah.
pharmaceutical cover-ups.
Okay. Really good because I'm going to bring this up a little bit later on.
Okay.
So awesome. Frederick Zula. So best performance on or off screen. Who's your Frederick Zula?
I had Tommy Lee Jones as Deputy U.S. Marshal Sam Gerard. So I just thought his performance is precise, commanding, effortlessly funny. You and I have just been quoting it heaps during those quotes. And it's just so iconic and it's just so iconic. And it didn't feel showy, I thought as well. I really feel like he elevated the entire film and delivered his lines. And they've become part of pop culture. So it's no surprise he won the Oscar. And like you mentioned too, like you were talking about quotes that from other movies and other shows that you didn't know were from The Fugitive until you watched The Fugitive. So yeah, I had Tommy Lee Jones. Who did you have?
Yeah, Tommy Lee as well. He wins the Oscar, so backs it up. No notes. Casting director. So if you were the casting director, who are you casting or recasting?
If I was doing this. I mean, I really do like the cast in this, but if you want more crossover from Under Siege, they had, the Admiral that we talked about, we had Gerard and Newman, maybe give me Gary Busey as Dr. Nichols. So you got me thinking about him after you sent me that clip earlier this week, but he gives off that bad character vibe and plays a villain really well. So I thought he would have been pretty good as Dr. Nichols. But having said that, it might destroy Dr. Nichols' credibility for the viewer watching, thinking Nichols wasn't sus when really he is sus all along if you got Gary Busey in there. So
Yeah, sure.
you don't want to be taken away from Ford and Jones too much because you want them to kind of dominate. But that's probably the only one I kind of look at. How about you?
Yeah. So Alec Baldwin, they wanted as a lead, but I'm glad that didn't happen. The only ones I had was so for the drug dealing pedo. I'm not going to say his name right, but I would have had Rad Sabajaz, who is the European or Eastern European guy from Snatch or Eyes Wide Shut. He's
Okay.
also in that other what's that other movie that we like, The White Room or whatever. You know, the one with the lady who they're watching the people they're doing the experiments on and they put like the gun in the room.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I know who you mean. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So I would have had him. And then the only other person would have been I would have maybe subbed Helen Hunt in for Jane Lynch, the doctor. But I don't know if Helen Hunt was too young. I think 93 she would have been fine to be a doctor.
Helen Hunt, who for who? Sorry?
For
For.
Jane Lynch, the blonde doctor, the
Oh, okay.
lady
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
mentioned before.
Yeah, yeah.
So other casting people who were in the running. So I saw that for Dr. Richard Kimball, as I mentioned before, they had Alec Baldwin in mind. Glad they didn't do that. They had Nick Nolte, funnily
Mm-hmm.
enough, who sort of is like your man you're talking about before. Kevin Costner and Michael Douglas. For Sam Gerard, Gene Hackman or John Voight, apparently. And then Nichols. So they did actually have another actor. His name was Richard Jordan. He was originally cast, but he had to drop out because of an illness. And sadly, he passed away, I think it was like 3 weeks after the movie was released. So it was pretty quick.
Mm. Yeah,
Did you see
that's.
anyone that they were looking to cast?
Yeah, they also apparently auditioned Jeff Bridges for Dr. Kimball, and
Okay.
they did have Ed Harris as well, potentially discussed as well for Gerard. I'm glad they went with who they went with. Helen Kimball, although it's a minor role, they did have Gina Davis considered, and also Meg Ryan was briefly discussed too. And then the one-armed man, they had Andreas Katsoulis, who was the actual actor, but they had two options of Tom Berenger, but also one that I think could have worked quite well, Lance Henriksen, who I quite like. He's Bishop in Alien.
Yeah.
So yeah. He could have done that role pretty good too.
Okay, cool. If I was doing a modern cast, I think Richard Kimball, Gosling, or Michael Fassbender. Gerard, Idris Elba, Viola Davis, or Josh Brolin, and the One-Armed Man, Javier Bardem or Vince Vaughn.
I like that. That's pretty good.
So, what character could Bruce Campbell have played? Firstly, just want to shout out Bruce. Get well soon. He shared some news the other day that he's having some health battles. Stay strong, brother. Looking forward to seeing you in Ernie and Emma later this year. Um,
Yeah,
so
obviously he didn't really want to talk about it too much, and he's staying pretty positive. So yeah, just want to send him my best as well.
I would have had actually Bruce Campbell as Dr. Nichols. So my scene. So when they're under the bridge area where the crash is for the Dark Knight,
Yeah.
so Dr. Kimball getting to the window of the car, Bruce. Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants. Richard, Jesus, you're back. Dr. Kimball, I need some money. Bruce, sure. But remember, shop smart. Shop S smart. And then drives away.
Oh, I'm the best. That is so good. I love it. I love it.
But I definitely think he could have played Dr. Nichols. I just want to highlight that I think he would have been a very good Dr. Nichols.
Um, I had Bruce Campbell as prisoner number 2 on the bus. So I got a scene for you. So, prisoner number 1 fakes being ill. He's coughing and vomiting. The guards come in to assist him, and he shanks the first guard. Then the old guard then blasts him away and turns the shotgun on prisoner number 2, played by Bruce Campbell. Campbell goes, whoa, wait a minute. You gotta understand, man. I even never saw these assholes before. Kimball, you gotta tell him. You don't know me. We never met. Tell him. Dr. Kimball looks at him and says, I don't think he'll listen, lad. Campbell, knowing he'll get shot, attacks the old guard, resulting in the driver of the bus accidentally getting shot, and the bus crashes onto the train tracks.
So good. I think we need to just stop putting in Army of Darkness. We might need to expand a little bit. But
can I say I've watched a couple of Bruce Campbell movies in the last 2 weeks as well, just to get more material for him. So, please don't want people to think he only just does Army of Darkness. He does other movies.
He's range. He's a man of many talents.
But Army of Darkness, I think, is just such a funny movie, and he's got such range in that movie that all those bits he does is just so funny. So.
We might have to do Army of Darkness just as a.
We'll get someone on that hasn't seen Army of Darkness and make them watch it. So,
okay, porn title. I struggled with a little bit of this, but I came up with The Punitive. Escaped con goes on the hunt for some poon. Say no more.
Man, I said it last week, but I'll say it again. These 2 categories are the best. My porn title was The Fugitive. So when Helen Kimball is found dead after what the cops describe as a bizarre case of ill-advised bedroom experimentation and autoerotica asphyxiation going catastrophically wrong, all signs point to an oversized rubber fist as the murder weapon. Dr. Richard Kimball insists he was out on an orgy downtown and swears a shadow intruder with one real arm and one rubber fist is trying to set him up. Wrongly convicted, Kimball escapes custody and plunges into the sleazy underbelly of Chicago's adult novelty scene, hunting the elusive one-armed man while dodging a relentless U.S. Marshal. As he digs deeper, Kimball discovers the conspiracy is darker than the basement of a BDSM club that he's been to the other week. And at the center of it all, Dr. Charles Nichols, whose experimental super Viagra trials went so disastrously long that he needed Kimball out of the way to shove the drug onto the market.
so good. Okay, best outfit or prop. So what are you keeping, or what's going straight to the pool room?
I had the prosthetic arm. So I think every visitor you would ask, wait, is that from The Fugitive? So yeah, I put the prosthetic arm.
Awesome. I had that, but then I thought it might have been too obvious. So I decided to go with Dr. Kimball's jumpsuit. Really cool just to pull out at Halloween. Just cool. Nice and easy. The other thing I liked was, but I think Harrison Ford's too tall for me. I liked his black tie, but I'm also just liked the vest. It was very 1993, so I'd like to have the vest.
Nice.
What happens after the credits stop? Where do you think the characters end up?
So I had believing he may have accidentally broken several world records during the dam jump. Kimball reinvents himself as a late in life diving prodigy. At age 57, he qualifies for the 2000 Sydney Olympic trials as the oldest competitor in the sport's history. His run is inspiring right up until his final dive, where he attempts a reverse 2.5 in honor of his escape, mistimes the rotation, and delivers a catastrophic stadium echoing belly flop. Although he finishes just outside the medals in 11th, he becomes a cult hero on the Roy and HG show The Dream. Do you remember
Did you
that
have?
show? Do you
Yeah,
remember that
yeah,
show?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. So my one's a little bit more happier. Not to say that that wasn't happy, but I guess just a feel good Wednesday for everyone. So Dr. Kimball goes back to the hospital, marries Gillian Moore, and they live happily ever after.
That is a lot nicer.
And
Yeah.
I had Tommy Lee Jones, U.S. Marshals.
US
I haven't
Marshals.
seen
Yeah.
it, but have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it. So I've heard mixed things about it, but I'm not going to let that sway me from potentially watching it one day. So.
Okay. So theory time. So this is where Brad, you what age the worst? I think you brought this up. So was Hollywood trying to tell everyone in '93 that Big Pharma are corrupt?
Big pharmaceutical companies. I know,
Yeah.
right? I know. Potentially.
Um,
And maybe police corruption too.
yeah. All right, Dom Toretto. When the world comes at you fast, listen to Big Dom. What's the Big Dom's life lesson of the movie?
I had, as my boy Saul Goodman would say, get a lawyer. Honestly, whenever you are being interviewed by the cops, get a fucking lawyer. Like, if I got killed, the first person they would question would be Leanne, or the head of the Jeffrey Rush fan club after that intro. But I think detectives may just look to pin it on Leanne and then move on to close their caseload and improve their stats. So whenever you're talking to the cops or interviewed or whatever, if you're innocent or guilty, just get a lawyer.
Yeah, perfect. Mine
What did you have?
was so sort of similar, but don't fuck with the Chicago PD. They'll kill you. And the second one, US Marshals. Shoot first, ask questions later.
That's awesome.
Airing of grievances. Got a lot of problems with you. So what are your airings of grievance?
Well, you touched on it before, but do you, do you reckon the death penalty was warranted in this case? I mean, like it sounds like he had a clean record. He was an active and helpful member of the community. I know murder is wrong, okay, but death penalty for a first-time offender, really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I had Kimball's house hasn't been sold. It's still vacant for the US Marshals to go and revisit the crime scene.
I was thinking that. I was like, how old is this? Why are they still there? Isn't it rented out?
Roughly a year later. Like, surely the Chicago property market's better than that.
Yeah.
I
Nice
also,
apartment too.
I know. I also had they're just transporting 4 cons on that big bus. Like, that's it. Like, no more. And lastly as well, I had the old guard. So that's the guy from Office Space. So should the old guard just start executing the unarmed and cuffed prisoners? And also, he said that he saved his colleague, which he didn't, but they don't find him until daylight. But he's telling the story at night. Like, shouldn't it be all hands on deck trying to find this bloke? And like, and why isn't the injured cop saying that Kimball saved him from the train crash? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just
I
like,
imagine the cop would say it later on, but yeah, I agree. Isn't that guy the cop from Groundhog Day? The guy with the mustache? Where'd you say he was from?
from Office Space. He's the one that's going to get. He's the one.
Milton.
Nah, he's the one that's going to get fired in Office
yeah,
Space.
yeah. I know who you're
The
talking
jump
about.
to conclusions guy.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So my airing of grievances, I got a couple. So the cops are like, his fingerprints are all over his gun and house. Guilty. Like, what's his fucking gun and his house? Of course, his fingerprints are all over it. What you mentioned earlier, so the lady picking up after a hitchhiker, like after all the serial killers in America, bullshit. So I did a little bit of research on this. So killers in the USA peaked in the 1980s with over 200 active serial killers that decade. So it wasn't long after that Like, and then there's the 70s with like Ted Bundy, who was going around picking up women and killing them. So, like 1993, a single female picking up a hitchhiker, like, no way, Jose.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Um, Gillian Moore doesn't recognize him without a beard, but I think I wrote that down when I knew that she was meant to have an affair. And then when I rewatched it, I saw that they actually didn't have any interaction. So, so I thought, man, maybe not. But when he walks into the prosthetics lab, like, there's so many people around. No one asks, like, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" He just
Yeah,
kind of keeps walking
the
through.
security's so lax at that place. Seriously, yeah.
Yeah. And then, do you think he's just been convicted and he hasn't been able to appeal yet? Because I feel like after you get put on death row, you get a couple of appeals. So I think they're transporting him, and he's just been convicted. Is my um, thought.
Yeah, I tried to research that. Apparently, from everything that I could find, it was a year between when he was convicted and when he escaped. So, like a year had passed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I mean, you're right. Like the whole, like, don't get me wrong, I love the story, but the whole, hey, you're gonna get the death penalty, and for a case that doesn't
Yeah.
seem as solid as what they'd make it out to be.
I got a couple more. So I feel like it would have been safer for Kimball to stay in the ballroom when he's confronting Nichols than like going into a separate room and then ending up on the roof.
You're so right. I need witnesses, man. I don't want to talk to you
Yeah,
one on
like the
one.
cops are going to, like, they're trying to shoot me on sight. Another one, no one recognizes Dr. Kimball all movie with no beard. Yet when he goes into the ballroom, everyone starts turning around and gasping, like, "Oh, there he is, there he is."
It's
I'm
Dr.
like,
Kimball. He
yeah,
made
I'm
his
like,
life.
what the fuck? And then the final one, so the US Marshals, so they fly somewhere, when they're all jumping on the plane. So I assume that HQ is not in Chicago. So my question is, how did they get to the bus and train crash within 90 minutes?
Yeah, you're right, actually. And yeah, you're totally right. I was thinking about that before and I didn't write it down. But yeah, it seems like, especially for 1993, like to get from wherever they are to that scene in 90 minutes, like they'd have to be like so close to that. Because obviously it happens, it gets reported, gets filtered to them, they get assigned it, then they go out there. Like, yeah, you're right. It's a quick turnaround.
So letterbox rating. So I gave this a 3.5 out of 5. I didn't kill my wife. The pharmaceuticals did.
Nice. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I really quite enjoyed it. I put down Hard Target Cinema, and I think it's one that you should watch in every warehouse, farmhouse, hen house. Yeah, no, it's really, really good movie.
Rewatchable factor. So would you watch it again? I enjoyed it the first time. I loved it the second time. I think the first time I was just too fixated on like what the cops were doing.
Yeah,
But I thought it was just such a great rewatch, and I'm very glad I've seen it. And I guess, yeah, I just really enjoyed it. What about you?
yeah, yeah. No, I agree. It's funny because obviously I watched it in the '90s, I watched it in the noughties, and then that's obviously 20 years ago. Hadn't seen it since, so it was absolutely fantastic to revisit. Like we sort of talked about, like they don't really make movies like this anymore, so it still seemed really fresh to me. So I really quite enjoyed it. I'm glad to hear that you really liked watching it a second time too.
What movie are you pairing it with, or
W-
movies?
Well, funnily enough, we talked about it before. If you want the cat and mouse, you got the No Country for Old Men. But when I think about this movie, I think about Double Jeopardy, which has Tommy Lee Jones in it again. But
Yeah.
he's tracking down an innocent parolee who got framed for murder too. So I think that's probably the closest for me.
Cool. I've got, if you want the cat and mouse, Catch Me If You Can.
Ah,
If you want to watch another Harrison movie, Air Force One. If you want to watch another Tommy Lee movie, Universal Soldier. And if you want to watch a movie with a guy with one hand or arm, Rolling Thunder, which keeps to that theme, but Tommy Lee's also in that movie too. Have you seen Rolling Thunder?
no, I haven't. I haven't seen
Okay.
Rolling Thunder.
We'll watch
But
it. We'll
we'll
do it on
watch
the
it.
show. It's pretty good. It's
Put it on
pretty
the list.
hectic. Yeah.
Add it to the list.
Awesome. Well, mailbox. Do we have any mailbox, Brad, this week?
No, but I was going to shout out that I didn't mention the name of the person that sent that question into us last week about what movie we're doing next. So that's my mistake. So it's a shout out to Paulie Dubs from Sydney. Yeah, it was a great question, and I think we should continue that and let people know what movie we're going to do next.
Well, on that, what movie are we doing next?
The Replacements, yeah?
Yeah, Gene Hackman and Keanu
Hack
Reeves.
Man.
Hackman. Alrighty, boys and girls, so that's going to do us for another episode of In the Mood for Movies. Thanks so much for hanging out with us as always. We hope you enjoyed and had a lot of fun listening. If you've got any thoughts, hot takes, movie suggestions, or just want to tell us what we're doing wrong, please hit us up, inthemoodforamovie@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram, In the Mood for a Movie. Like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jeremy. That's Brad. We'll catch you next time with the Replacements.
Hey,
Have a
Jeremy, I got
great.
one last thing to say to you.
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. Have a good one, everyone.
Take care.